everybody, it's Gwen. Welcome back to my channel. Today, as you guys know from the title, I am bringing you all a much needed album review. I feel like I have not filmed an album review in a while, and that's because I haven't. I think it's been over a year, and I apologize. I want to bring album reviews back to my channel because while I don't do as many reactions anymore, I still want to do more reviews because I really do enjoy reviewing albums and talking about my thoughts, and a lot of you guys tend to ask about my thoughts on most recent albums that have come out. So today, as you guys can tell from the title, I'm going to be reviewing Halsey's latest album, Manic, which came out like almost 2 months ago at this point. It was sometime in February, but you know, as usual, I wanted to listen to it a lot, and I had like an epiphany listening to it the other day where I was like, whoa, I feel like everything clicked. Like everything that this album stood for, I just understood it. Because honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little about it in the beginning. Like I had to listen to it a lot. I did end up reviewing her album that came before it, Hopeless Found Kingdom, when that came out in 2017, and that was my favorite album of that year. So I feel like, you know, it's fitting that I should keep reviewing her albums, especially because, like I said, I had an epiphany the other day and now I really love this album and I can appreciate it a lot more. So I thought that I would share my thoughts on it with you. As usual with my album reviews in the past, I typically go song by song through the album, talking about each song, and at the end I will give kind of my overview thoughts on the album as a whole. So there are 16 songs, so without further ado, let's get started. The first song is Ashley, which obviously is like her real name, and I love the opening and like the build to this song. I think it opens the album in a great way, and it has a really cool sounding opening to the album, which she's done in the past. She tends to pick really neat, like really cool sounding songs to open her albums with, which I really appreciate. And it has a very powerful opening and a powerful chorus. And I really like the end of the song, how she's like talking about her feelings toward different kinds of people, and she's like, I'm just this kind of girl and you're just this kind of person and we mesh and we don't mesh, and like she talks about her feelings a lot on this album. She's very honest, and I'll keep kind of mentioning that throughout it because that's definitely a big theme of the album, is honesty and kind of vulnerability, which I really praise her for. Second song is Clementine, which is one of the singles, and I'm surprised about like the early placement of this song in the album, just because it's kind of like all of a sudden this really like deep, slow song that kind of just happens, like second song of the album. I feel like typically those kind of songs are later on in the album, so I'm surprised that it's that early. I love her voice in this song. It is so beautiful, and I like how you can hear her like yelling the lyrics over her singing during the chorus. I think it just adds like an extra oomph to it, you know, just I think it makes it more than just like a ballad, you know, it adds her own emotions to the song, and you can really appreciate that in her yelling. Third song is Graveyard, which was another single. I actually did react to this one when it came out, and this is definitely a good song to follow Clementine because it starts really slow but then it builds up, which I like. And this song really grew on me since it came out as one of the singles. I mean, you can watch the reaction video to it that I posted. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it, and it's definitely grown on me, like I said. And I love the bridge, the line where she says, it's funny how the warning signs can feel like the butterflies, and then she gasps. I think it's a really cool bridge. Once again, didn't really appreciate it the first time I listened to it, but after coming back to the song, I really like it. Next is You Should Be Sad, and I think this is a very like relatable song for a lot of people that definitely have been in like toxic relationships and things like that. It's one of the more relatable songs on the album, and the sounds in the background of the song are super cool, and I really like the anger in her voice throughout the song. I'm surprised this song is as popular as it is. It's one of the most popular songs on the album, which maybe that's because, like I said, it's so relatable and it has that relatable topic, but it definitely wasn't one of the ones that I all of a sudden would assume everyone's gonna love this song. There's actually other songs I'll mention later that I thought would be like that aren't, so it's very interesting. You know, you can never predict what the public is gonna like and dislike and how they're gonna react. Next song is Forever, ... is a long time, parentheses, and this is one of the most underrated songs on this album. I love the lyrics, I love her voice in this song, and I really like the end when her voice kind of sounds distorted and she comes back in after this long pause and she says, build love, build God, build provinces, and all this stuff. It reminds me a bit of the opening of Hopeless Found Kingdom, the prologue, which I love, and I just really like appreciate this song in the album. Next is Dominics Interlude, which is the first of 3 interludes on the album. It features Dominic who sings most of the song. He actually sings all of it. And this song came on shuffle for me the other day, just as I was listening to like my music as a whole. And I literally forgot that it was technically like a Halsey song because she doesn't sing at all in the song. It's all him. And I like the background sounds and the way his voice is distorted at some parts. I think it's very catchy. It's not something I would typically listen to, but I like it a lot. I think it's kind of cool that she's not in any of it, yet it is like her song still. It's interesting, it's cool. Next song is I Hate Everybody. I love the transition of this song from Dominics Interlude. I think it works really well. And I love like the strength behind her voice during this chorus, which, I mean, looking at the song title in all caps, I think that you would assume this is probably going to be, you know, a more like intense song, and it definitely is. You can hear that in her voice. I like the simple snapping in the background during the verses. I think it just helps keep like a really nice rhythm throughout the song. And I feel like this is one that a lot of people tend to like. Next we have 3 AM. This is a bop. This is probably like one of the like fastest and kind of most like boppy songs on the album, you know? It's definitely very poppy, it's a bop. This is one of the ones I'm surprised that hasn't been as popular because I feel like everybody should want to like bop this song. I feel like this is what you hear at like a party and things like that. I love the lyric, I need it digital because baby when it's physical I end up alone. I really like kind of the story that it tells of her like being out at a club and then coming home and then texting all these people, blah blah blah. I think it's something that's also quite relatable to a lot of people, at least in my generation, you know, with all the technology that we have. So that's why I'm surprised that it's not as popular as it is. The song ends with what sounds like her manager or something, like leaving a voicemail about how her best song is the song that's currently on the radio, and like not many people can say that, and then it ends with him going, "Congratulations." And then it goes right into the next song, which is Without Me, which makes me wonder if the ending of 3 AM is him talking about the next song, which is Without Me, because that would make a lot of sense because that song, as you know, that's like been her huge hit, you know, the past year or so when that came out. I did react to that song last year, and I personally, as you guys know, don't like it, but everybody else loves it. It was a huge radio hit. That's why I'm assuming that when he says like your biggest song is on the radio, that's what he's talking about, because it kind of is like her next biggest song. It's one of her most popular songs ever listened to. And we already know my opinion on it. If you guys have been following me for a while, you guys know my opinion on this song. Everybody around me in my real life knows my opinion on the song. I think it's her worst song. And I don't want to get hate for saying that, because I love every single thing she's ever put out. And I'll listen to it if it comes on and I'll sing along. But I still think it is her worst song that she's written. I think that, you know, substance-wise, it doesn't have much substance. The chorus is so repetitive. And even after this album coming out, I honestly still think it's her worst song. Like, I don't really think there's a song on this album that's like worse than Without Me, if that makes sense. And yeah, it's just kind of, it was a letdown when it came out. I'm surprised that that song made this album and Nightmare didn't, because I loved Nightmare and that's just a forever like one-off single, and I kind of wish that had substituted Without Me. But I don't know, I'm sure you guys all love this song. I know a lot of people do. It's fine, I don't skip it sometimes, but you know, I do listen to it, but I still think that substance-wise and, you know, repetition, I think it's her worst song because of those things. Next we have Finally / Beautiful Stranger. This song is so cute and it like low-key makes me cry. It's beautiful, and I think it really showcases like her raw talent and her range, and it's just like the most adorable love song. It's the best. Next is Alanis Interlude, which features Alanis Morissette, and I love how she and Halsey sing together, and they kind of like go back and forth, and I think that the beat and their voices goes very well together. This is easily my favorite of the 3 interludes. I think it's the best. I think it's the most interesting and kind of like the most diverse, and the lyrics are super interesting. I would definitely encourage you to read some of them. They're a little like explicit, so I'm not gonna say them, but it is interesting, and I would love to know more of the meaning behind this song. It's definitely also one of the most surprising songs to me on the album just because of how different it is, and I really think that the feature is really neat on this song, and the thing that they did, like the writing of the song is super interesting, and it's not really very short for it being an interlude. It's kind of like a full-length song, which I really enjoy. So yeah, it's definitely my favorite interlude track off the album. Next we have Killing Boys, which I talked about in my last video, and I love the opening of this song. I love the beat of this song. It's one of the shortest songs on the album, which I think works, because it is slightly repetitive. I will give it that. That's why I think it's like the perfect length. I think they could have maybe dragged it on for like another chorus or something, and I'm kind of glad that she didn't because I think that it works really well the way it is. Next we have Suga's Interlude, I think that's how you say it. It features BTS, and the transition from Killing Boys into this I think is a little abrupt, and I'm surprised that there is only one song between those two interludes. I find that really interesting. It's probably my least favorite interlude track, though it is still really cool, and I do actually really like the chorus and like the part that Halsey sings in this song. And I don't hate on her for adding these other features, for trying these new things. I think it's really creative, and I think it works. Next is More. I love the soft opening of this song and the build-up and how it like tells a story, and it's also a love song about how, you know, someone may have hurt her but she still wants them more. Even though they may not have treated her right, she still wants to be with them, which I think also, once again, a lot of people can relate to. And it also sounds a bit like a lullaby during the bridge. There's like these like, almost like kind of like wind chimes in the background and like those kind of relaxing sounds. And I really like when she says, "I've loved you for all of my life," in this like falsetto, you know, tone. It's so cute. Next is Still Learning. This is the second to last song of the album. I love the storyline for this song, and I think it's very similar to the topic of the last song that comes after, which is 929. I think it's a really good placement that she put these two next to each other, because like I said, they have very similar topics, and the main, you know, message in the chorus is, she says, "I'm still learning to love myself," which is also very relatable. It's a great message. I think that it shows her growth as an artist and a person, which I think this entire album shows her growth, but especially this last song where she's being very honest. She's talking about what fame is really like and how from the outside it looks like she has a perfect life, but, you know, she's kind of misunderstood and she's actually going through things that people don't think about. And I just love how honest that she's being in this song and in the last song, which is 929, like I mentioned. This is the most underrated song on the album, hands down. I feel like not enough people are talking about this song. It's a great ending, and it's my favorite song, I think, weirdly enough. It starts with her joking about how she's like, "I was really born at 9:29 a.m. on 9/29, which, you know, September 29th is her birthday. I actually saw her on her birthday in 2017, throwback to that vlog. But yeah, she talks about that in the beginning. She goes, "I'll prove it," and then she starts the song, which is basically like a song about her life. She's like, "Look at me, I'm almost 25, blah, 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 blah," and then she just goes into this almost like it's like a poetic rant that rhymes. I don't know, it's so cool. And the song makes me so happy because of how honest she is, and because it's like a rhyming story. Like, it literally gives me chills to listen to. She talks about how her fans have told her how much that they've needed her, and she hasn't felt like she's fully been there for them. And you can really hear her raw voice, like she's simply reciting this in a poem. Like, I believe that she did this in one take, maybe once or twice. And maybe that's not true, but it sounds like it was done in one take. It's so impressive. At the end, she says, "I have a confession to make. I was really born at 9:26. I'm a liar," which I think is so funny. It's just the perfect end to the album because it ends with her singing in this light falsetto after just telling her life story. Like, it's beautiful. Please check it out. If you haven't even listened to like many songs of this album, just please listen to this song. I've showed so many people this song who aren't even like Halsey fans. Like, I showed my grandparents this song because I love the way that she speaks in this poetic language. It's beautiful, and she's so talented. She's such a talented songwriter that I think it was the perfect way for her to end the album, because the whole time she's talking about other people, her struggles, and then you can finally hear the story that goes along with everything at the end. And she's being so honest and so vulnerable in those last two songs. And I think it was a perfect way to end it. So my overall thoughts on the album, you know, I really like the interludes. That's something new that she's added, and I like how they're all totally different from each other. I give her total respect for, you know, having those artist features in this album, kind of going outside the box a bit on songs like the Alanis Interlude and, you know, so many other songs. Finally, Beautiful Stranger, I mean, 929, we haven't really heard anything like that in any of her other albums. There's just so many new things in this album, like Clementine, Graveyard. I mean, she hasn't written a lot of those kind of like slow love songs in a while. She wrote Sorry on the last album, but that was basically it. It's really interesting to kind of think back to Badlands and like how far she's come since then. And if somebody listened to this album and then went and listened to Castle or Ghost, they'd be like, who is this girl? And it's really cool because she was 19 when she wrote Badlands, you know, and obviously now she's like 25, almost 25 like she says. So it's so cool seeing her growth, and I love everything she's put out, and that's why she's my favorite singer, because it's so cool to look at her growth as an artist. And I could listen to Badlands and I love it. I can listen to Hopeless Found Kingdom and I love it. And this album, which has finally kind of clicked for me, I really appreciate it. And it's so cool. And I don't know, Badlands is kind of like this almost like more dreamy pop about like mental health. And then you have Hopeless Found Kingdom, which is so much more pop. It's pretty much pop for most of the album. It's kind of like, I don't want to say generic pop, but it's more like dance pop. There's a few sad songs, one or two, but most of it is very high energy, little hip hop. And then you have this, which is, it's a mix of everything. And I think that the name Manic really goes really well with the album because it has so many sides to it. And she really experimented a lot with this album. She was so honest in the songwriting and the lyrical content, which I love. So I don't know, I'm so proud of her as a singer, and I hope I can still go to her tour this summer. I hope it won't be canceled because I would love to see some of these songs live, and she always has an incredible live performance with the way that she does things visually, and the visuals for this album have been really cool, so hopefully I get to see her. But there you guys go, that was my opinion and my album review for Halsey's latest album, Manic. Please comment down below, let me know what you guys think of the album. If you're gonna go and see her on tour, hope to see her on tour. I would love to hear your thoughts on everything about it, because I feel like people haven't been talking about this album enough. Granted, I realize it came out 2 months ago, but like, I still feel like I haven't heard that much about the individual songs and which ones people like. So please let me know if you're a fan. I'd love to hear your opinions. But other than that, please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you guys liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!